On December 4th, 1872, a lookout on the British ship Dei Grazia spotted something wrong in the middle of the Atlantic. Roughly 400 miles east of the Azores, a two-masted brigantine was yawing through the water, her sails torn and set against each other, holding no steady course. Captain David Morehouse signaled her. No answer. He watched her for a couple of hours. Nothing moved on deck. So he sent a small boarding party across in a boat, and what they found aboard has never been fully explained. The ship was the Mary Celeste, out of New York, and she was empty. Not wrecked, not looted. Empty. First mate Oliver DeVoe climbed aboard and walked her from bow to stern. The hull was sound. The cargo, 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol bound for Genoa, sat undisturbed in the hold. There was about 3.5 feet of water sloshing between decks, a real amount, but nothing a working crew couldn't pump out. 6 months of food and fresh water remained on board. The crew's oilskin boots and pipes were still below. A sailor does not abandon his pipe. And yet every single person who had sailed her out of New York, 10 human beings, was gone. Here's what makes it worse. The ship's single lifeboat, a small yawl that sat across the main hatch, was missing. The chronometer and the sextant, the two instruments you need to navigate, were gone too. Whoever left this ship left it on purpose, in a hurry, but with enough presence of mind to grab navigation tools. They planned to survive. None of them did. And the last entry in the ship's log raised a question nobody could answer. How does an empty ship sail itself for 9 days? Rewind 1 month. On November 7th, 1872, the Mary Celeste left New York Harbor under Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs. Briggs was 37, a Massachusetts master mariner from a family of sea captains, a man with a clean record and a part owner's stake in the ship. He did not drink. His crew of 7 included his first mate, Albert Richardson, and 4 German sailors with solid reputations. Briggs trusted this voyage enough to bring his wife, Sarah, and his 2-year-old daughter, Sophia. Her older brother, Arthur, stayed home with his grandmother in Massachusetts to attend school. He would never see his parents again. 8 days later, the Dei Grazia left New York along the same general route, carrying petroleum to Gibraltar. Captain Morehouse and Captain Briggs were both respectable men in the same trade. Some accounts say they knew each other, and by some tellings they dined together before departure, though the evidence for that dinner is thin. What is certain is that one of these ships arrived in European waters with a crew, and one did not. When DeVoe's boarding party searched the Mary Celeste on December 4th, they cataloged a scene that looked paused rather than abandoned. The captain's cabin held Sarah's melodeon, a small reed organ, and the child's toys. The crew's sea chests were full. Money and personal valuables remained. There was no blood, no sign of a struggle, no fire damage, nothing broken in anger. Forget the legend of warm meals on the table. Writers invented that detail years later. The reality is stranger. The galley was in reasonable order, but the stove had shifted from its place, the binnacle had been knocked over, and the compass inside it was smashed. 2 of the hatch covers were off, lying on the deck, and a sounding rod, the tool used to measure water in the hold, lay abandoned topside, as if someone had just used it and dropped it. And then there was the log. The final entry was dated November 25th at 8 in the morning. It placed the Mary Celeste within sight of Santa Maria Island in the Azores, about 6 miles off the coast. The Dei Grazia found her roughly 400 nautical miles east of that position 9 days later. For 9 days, a ship with no hands on the wheel had somehow kept sailing in roughly the right direction, alone, across open ocean. Either someone stayed aboard for part of that time, or the wind and currents did something close to impossible. That question would hang over everything that came next. DeVoe and 2 men sailed the ghost ship 600 miles to Gibraltar to claim salvage, and that is where the story turned ugly. The British Vice Admiralty Court's Attorney General, Frederick Flood, took one look at the case and decided it was a crime. He found stains on the deck and on a sword beneath the captain's bed and declared them blood. He suggested the crew had broken into the alcohol, murdered the Briggs family in a drunken frenzy, and escaped. There were 2 problems. The cargo was denatured alcohol, poisonous to drink, and the stains were tested and turned out not to be blood at all. Flood then floated a darker theory, that Morehouse and his men had killed everyone for the salvage money. But the timing destroys it. The Dei Grazia could not have intercepted the Mary Celeste where the logbooks place each vessel. After 3 months, the court found no evidence of foul play, and the salvors received an award of £1,700, roughly a fifth of what the ship and cargo were worth, an insultingly low figure that hinted at suspicions the court could never prove. So if it was not mutiny, and it was not murder, what empties a healthy ship in the middle of the ocean? Strike the easy answers first. Pirates? Nothing was stolen, and pirates do not leave 1,701 barrels of cargo and the crew's valuables behind. Insurance fraud? Briggs owned shares in the vessel, and sinking her would have been the entire point. Yet she was found floating and sound. A rogue wave or a waterspout? Possible, but the ship carried no damage consistent with a sea powerful enough to sweep 10 people away, and a wave does not lower a lifeboat. Gather the navigation instruments and the ship's papers, and leave everything else in place. What the evidence actually supports is quieter and somehow more frightening. When the cargo was finally unloaded in Genoa, 9 of the 1,701 barrels were empty. Those 9 barrels, it turned out, had been made of red oak, a porous wood, while the rest were white oak. Red oak leaks vapor. Somewhere on the Atlantic, hundreds of gallons of raw alcohol had seeped into a sealed hold as invisible, flammable fumes. Briggs had never carried this cargo before, and he knew exactly what alcohol vapor could do to a wooden ship. In 2006, a chemist at University College London named Andrea Sella built a scale model of the ship's hold and ignited an alcohol vapor mixture inside it. The result was a cold, flashing pressure wave, a burst of flame violent enough to blow hatches open while leaving no soot, no scorching, and no fire behind. Now look again at the deck of the Mary Celeste. Hatch covers off and lying on the planks. A sounding rod dropped where someone stood measuring the well. A captain with his wife and baby daughter aboard, listening to whatever was happening inside a hold packed with 1,700 barrels of explosive cargo. Here is the reconstruction the evidence supports. On the morning of November 25, 1872, near Santa Maria Island, something alarmed Briggs. Fumes hissing from the hold. A rumble, perhaps a flash from below decks. Fearing his ship was about to explode, he ordered everyone into the yawl. They took the sextant, the chronometer, and the ship's papers, and almost certainly tied the small boat to the Mary Celeste with a long line, planning to wait at a safe distance and climb back aboard once the danger passed. It was a reasonable decision. It was also fatal. The wind rose. The ship surged forward. The line parted, or was never strong enough, and 10 people in an open boat watched their ship, their food, their water, and their only shelter pull away from them toward the horizon. No trace of the yawl or anyone in it was ever found. It cannot be proven. No explosion was ever confirmed, and the line, if it existed, was lost to the sea. But it is the only account that explains a sound ship, an orderly cabin, a missing boat, missing instruments, open hatches, and 9 empty barrels, all at the same time. The Mary Celeste herself sailed on for 12 more years, past, between owners who struggled to keep crews aboard her. In 1885, her final captain deliberately ran her onto a coral reef off the coast of Haiti and tried to collect the insurance on a worthless cargo. The fraud was exposed in court. Even her ending was crooked. Somewhere between Santa Maria Island and nowhere, a small boat carrying a captain, his wife, his little girl, and 7 sailors slipped out of the record of the world. The ocean knows exactly what happened in those last hours. It has never told anyone. If stories like this one stay with you, there are plenty more true ones waiting.